This incident took place quite a few years back, and it was just about a week in advance of Bhagwan's proposed visit to Madras. And suddenly I found that I had to make a very urgent business trip to Chicago just for one meeting, and it could not be put off. It was very, very urgent. And literally I was going to fly in and fly out. And in those days, Bhagwan was in the old Brindavan building in Bangalore at that time. So I went down there to take Bhagwan's permission, and it was in the evening that I reached. I was to leave that night from Madras, and Bhagwan very graciously said, yes, you can go and come back. Anyway, I'm going to come only after a few days. So that was very kind of him, and then he was going...
Yeah, I suppose you were anxious not to miss him in Madras.
Yes, I did. Certainly, I would never have missed him. I would have cancelled my trip rather than go if it was not going to be possible. But Bhagwan made everything possible. So just as he was about to retire, I was waiting there and with my hands folded. And just before going in, he said, on your way back, stop in such and such place and meet this particular person. I said, yes, Swami, I will do that. And I was waiting for him to tell me what further instructions there are going to be. And just like Bhagwan, he just went inside his chambers, and the interview or the meeting I had was terminated. So I was thunderstruck. Now here I am going to travel thousands of miles to meet an individual without knowing why I am going there.
And what you were supposed to tell him.
Exactly. So anyway, I said, well, Bhagwan will sort everything out. And I flew that night to Chicago, finished my meeting, and during the day I called this person in the city that I was supposed to go to see him, and said, I'm coming to see you.
That was a long way off from Chicago.
It was a 14-hour flight.
Oh, that shows off.
So he's was sounded a bit curt on the phone and said, why are you coming? I said, I'm coming there, I'll tell you when I get there, because if I told him that I didn't know why I was coming, I'm sure that he would have put an end to the discussion forthwith. So he sounded again a bit curt, but I didn't allow the dialogue to persist, and I said, Sai Ram, and I will see you, I'm arriving by such and such flight. So I left Chicago that evening and flew 14 hours with a stopover in between in the Pacific. It was a technical stop, a refueling stop, and finally reached the city that I was supposed to go to. I was quite tired out.
Naturally.
And I found, as I came out of the customs area, I found this particular gentleman waiting there. I must say that he is a very wealthy person, a very, very well-to-do, very wealthy person, quite aristocratic in his demeanor.
And he was a devotee.
He was a devotee on that. And he said Sai Ram to me. We didn't have any further talk there, and I found we went to the curbside and his Rolls Royce was parked there.
That shows how rich he was.
So we just got into it, and there was dead silence on the journey, and we went to his palatial home, and this was about 2:30 in the morning.
My God.
And when we reached there, he didn't even offer to that I could retire to my room, have some rest. He straight away took me to his drawing room, shut the doors, and sat facing me and said, now, why have you come?
You two were alone?
Both of us, nobody else in the room.
2:30 in the morning.
2:30 in the morning, and by the time...
And you have just had a 14-hour flight and a long drive to this home.
And my answer to that question was, I have come here because Swami asked me to come and see you. Yes. What did he tell you to tell me? What is the message you bring? I said, I bring no message. Then he said, what, man? Are you a fool that you have come such a long distance without any message, without knowing why you are supposed to come and see me? Are you sure, or are you hiding something? I said, no, I'm not hiding. I'm carrying out implicitly Swami's instructions that I was supposed to come and see you. He repeatedly quizzed me and grilled me, and I stuck to what I was supposed to say and what was the truth. Then he relapsed into dead silence and got into a very moody somnolence. He was totally as if he was far away.
Lost in thought.
Yes. And then suddenly I see him.
Was he lost in thought for quite a while?
At least I would say about 15 minutes.
15 minutes? That's a long time. And you said that?
Yes, and you can imagine when just two of us were sitting just like you and me, but we are sitting in far more pleasant circumstances than it was at that time, and there is no talk at all, and this man is lost in thought, and suddenly I see that he seems to bend forward and reach towards his right shoe.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering, why is he going to shoe me or something or what? Then suddenly I see he withdraws something from his socks, and I find it's a pocket revolver. Glinting.
That is something I'm sure you are not prepared for.
Glinting blue steel, and he showed it to me and he says, do you know what this is? I said, I know exactly what it is. Please don't point it at me. And mentally I started, perhaps my last moment has arrived. And I kept on repeating in my heart, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. Because I didn't know where I was and what I had got into. He said, this is a fully loaded revolver. And just tonight, I want to tell you, I was going to shoot myself.
Oh my God.
And then he began like a flood, like a dam which is overflowing. He started to recite his stories, how he had got himself into enormous debts in his business, and he was finding it very difficult to repay them. And he had decided to take the so-called easy way out. And then he himself said, Bhagavan knew what I was going to do, and that's why he has asked you to come and see me. And we kept chatting for quite some time, and I had a return flight to Chennai that day around early afternoon. So I just had time to have a little wash and have a very, very light breakfast in his house and rush to the airport. And I had told him that Swami is coming to Chennai within the next few days, and he said that he would be there. So here I could understand that how Bhagavan knows the past, the present and the future, and how every devotee is under his care. You asked me a question whether he was a devotee, and I said yes, he was a devotee. I was very careful in my choice of words.
I didn't realize
because he seemed to have strayed from the fold a bit, but still Bhagavan did not forget him.
Swami sometimes says, you may go away from me, but I won't go away, leave you.
I will not let you go. That's exactly what he says. So, in spite of not having come to Bhagavan for quite some time, Bhagavan remembered him and saved him. And here he was coming to Chennai, to Madras, when Bhagavan came there. To take this incident a little further, when he came to Madras, Swami first did not look at him, but
he who saved him pretended he didn't exist
at all. And later, when we thought that he's going to not see this fellow at all, suddenly he called him into the interview room, and asked me also to come in. I was not again dumbfounded as to what I have to do at that moment. But Bhagwan has got his own
ways of
methods of how to do things and whom to use as what instrument at what time. And then he started to really castigate this fellow. And I was feeling very delicate to translate some of the words. And when I was trying to pass them over, Swami got very angry with me. He said, "No, you are just a loudspeaker. Your only role is to exactly say what I am telling you to say.
No editing.
No editing whatsoever." And then I exactly followed Bhagwan's instructions. This man burst into tears and wept like a baby. Then finally Bhagwan, in his ever-present, ever-flowing mercy, said, "Now forget the past. Past is past. Everything will be all right for you." And the story had a happy ending, that this man had a lot of properties which could not be sold due to the crash in the prices which took place at that time. But lo and behold, buyers seemed to come mysteriously from somewhere, and he could raise enough funds to meet all his obligations. So this was, I would say, a very, very unique experience for me. And it taught me the lesson that Bhagwan's ways are mysterious. How, when and where he comes to protect you, you do not know. But what we should always be sure, that protect he will. He will always protect us. But he will protect us at the time when we need protection. That is what we have to understand.